Dave Ramsey could be costing you over $200,000. Yep, there I said it. Yep, I just threw out some fighting words because I said Dave Ramsey and him not giving you the best advice. Now, the fact is that Dave's advice is blanket advice. And I think that everybody can argue that, you're in a unique situation for you. And even my scenario right here, maybe not your specific situation. But what I want to talk about is the fact that investing versus paying off the mortgage. Now, I know that Dave says to get a 15-year mortgage, but in current times, a lot of people can't afford a 15-year mortgage at all, or they'll always be renting a home because prices are high, rates are high, and it gets expensive out there. So on the same side of that, Dave also talks about not paying extra on the mortgage until you are already meeting certain goals when it comes to savings. So if you want to think of it like Dave says it, what I want to look at then is if we just say that, you kind of went Dave-ish and you got the 30-year mortgage instead of the 15, but then you say, I'm already meeting my goals, but now I want to put another $12,000 away, or should I put that $12,000 every year towards my mortgage? So that's what I want to look at here. So think about it like that. If you're a Dave fan and you get upset about things and you're already, writing your comment out mad at me. So when we're looking at this, as I said, $12,000 additional every year that you want to save. So if you're saving $12,000 a year for 30 years, and you're getting a 7% rate. Now, for the 7% return, the S&P 500 is averaged over 9%. Historically, Dave says 12%, so I think that 7% is very conservative. If I were to go in here and adjust this to a much higher rate, like 12%, it's a no-brainer. You should always invest the money. But what I want to look at is not that. I want to go from a conservative number here. So if you were to do this 30 years, you would have $1,212,000 and some change. So then what about if you got the mortgage? So if you got the mortgage and you have a $300,000 mortgage at a 4.5% rate and you save $1,000 extra, or you pay that towards the principal each month. So if you're doing that, you're going to pay your mortgage off almost 17 years early, which is awesome. So now let's say, you are going to pay the mortgage off early. And then from there, what you're going to do is take the money you were paying towards the mortgage plus the extra additional payment every month of $1,000, and you're going to save all of that combined for the remainder of that 30 years. So as I mentioned, it would be about 17 years short. So let's take a look there. So if we were talking for 17 years, you'd be saving $30,240 because we're taking the mortgage into consideration here. Same 7% rate. You only have a $997,890. Now, I'm going to show you a different one with a different rate as well, but as I really want to focus on that interest rate too, because that's going to be a big driving factor. If you had started saving and you delayed saving for 13 years and the rate is higher, you're missing out on even more compound interest in the savings range of things. So that's a big one, but it does change a bit when you have a higher interest rate, and I will show you how that works. So what if instead you have a 7% rate with that $300,000 mortgage that we talked about, and you are paying $1,000 extra towards the principal every month? Right here, 17 years and 5 months earlier. And so in 17 years and 5 months, the interesting thing is, if you're looking at this, if you have a higher rate and you are paying extra towards your principal, you are going to pay it off faster than if you have a lower rate. The reason is because you're paying a lot of the interest on the front side of things and chipping away at that and being able to take advantage of paying down the principal, so you're not going to have the interest, if I said all that right. But the fact is that a higher rate goes, if you keep paying that $1,000 additional, it's going to pay it off quicker. If I show you another one and I show you a 2% rate, it's going to be even less than the one we'd previously talked about here with a 4.5% rate. So that's just to give you some input there on how that works exactly. So if we're looking at this, you're going to pay it off 17 and a half years earlier. So then you're only going to have 12 and a half years. You're still going to have 12 and a half years there. So if we're looking at 12 and a half years, if you're paying it off early, you're going to have 17 and a half years to invest. Whew, there we go. All right. So 35,952, 17 and a half years, 7% rate. That's 1,246,111. You go back here, what it's going to show you is 1,212,000. And so the initial start of this is $1,212,000. But if your interest rate is higher and you're still wanting to pay off the mortgage, you can do that. Now, here is the overall picture of the problem that I have in general with this Dave Ramsey advice when it comes to this right here. And that is again, as I say, I understand it's the whole idea of putting more away towards certain things. When it comes to this scenario, if you don't do it right and you aren't saving early on, and maybe you're wanting to just get rid of all debt, maybe you go Dave Ramsey plus some, and you want to get rid of all debt, including the mortgage. What's going to end up happening is your life is going to change. As life goes on, you're going to start trying to pay off on the mortgage, but you don't have to pay extra on the mortgage. And so then there's going to be the points in time where you're like, hey, you know what? I'm a little tight this month. I can't pay extra on the mortgage. When you're not paying extra on the mortgage, then you're not chipping away at it. So you're not going to pay it off as fast, and you're going to lose time long-term after you pay it off to be able to save for retirement. Instead, if you start early with the retirement, the money's always going to compound for you. Compound interest growth is going to work for you. So instead of trying to just pay this mortgage off as fast as possible and then take all this money, put it away, do the other side of it. Maybe start investing first and, meet your goals with the investing first. Then, if you really want to, like Dave talks about, you could consider paying off the mortgage. I'm not saying he's completely wrong, but yeah, he's close.
Thanks for watching. If you want to watch more FinTips videos, click here. Be sure to like and subscribe also.